Hello there YouTube and welcome to the first of my Skyrim hold builds. Each of these builds will be focused around one of the holds in Skyrim, exemplifying the qualities of each hold in some way, and every single one of them will be renowned within their own hold. Today, we start with the Dragon Knight, a staunch protector of Whiterun and a mounted combat specialist. Born in Whiterun, the Dragon Knight always desired to protect the people around him. He became a guard as soon as he was able, and eagerly carried out his duties, patrolling around the hold for days on end without a single word of complaint. Despite his happiness with his role in life, he still felt that he wasn't doing enough. The Aldmeri Dominion was attempting to take over the Empire, and he feared that the life his fellow kinsman led was in danger of being changed forever. He decided that the best course of action he could take would be to join the Imperial Legion and fight the Elven aggressors, who had been foolish enough to challenge the Empire. He fought in the Legion for several years, both as an infantryman and a cavalry soldier. During his time, he always believed that if the Empire was able to win, then the people of his home would be truly free. As we all know though, the White Gold Concordant is signed to end the war, and imposes some serious restrictions on the people that he was fighting for. The Dragon Knight and his family had worshipped Talos for their whole lives, and now they were being forced to change their own beliefs. He left the army after the treaty was signed, and returned home. He and his family decided to move out of Skyrim, and search for somewhere to live where they could worship freely. They moved to northeast Hammerfell, settling down and living peacefully for several years. Eventually his parents died, and the Dragon Knight felt that there was nothing left for him in Hammerfell. He desired the chance to help people once again, and longed to return to his home. He set out on his journey towards Skyrim, buying a horse for the travel, and leaving behind 2 graves in the ground. When he crosses the border, he will encounter a group of Stormcloaks being ambushed. He immediately regrets not having stayed in Skyrim for his whole life, and seeing brother fight against brother, he tries to charge in and stop the fighting. He jumps down from his horse and calls for a ceasefire, but instead takes a blow to the back of the head and doesn't wake up until he is on the cart heading towards Helgen. The main skills for this build are smithing, heavy armour and one-handed. Smithing is essential for this character, as you wear dragon plate armour, which requires 100 smithing to craft. Having smithing at 100 will also make your armour improvements very powerful. The heavy armour skill will not only ensure you reach the armour cap, but also can grant you reduced stagger and a chance to reflect melee damage. One-handed is going to make sure that you deal out plenty of damage with your axe. Make sure you grab all the damage perks so you can eliminate your enemies nice and quickly. The additional skills for this build are block and enchanting. Although this build is equipped with a shield, this isn't all that useful whilst you are mounted. However, once you're on your own 2 feet, it's very handy to have. I'd recommend grabbing the Quick Reflexes perk to help you avoid power attacks and give you a nice slow time effect. Enchanting is only a side skill on here, as I didn't want this build to be all about crafting. Leveling up smithing is enough work to do for this build, so don't worry about maxing out enchanting. Instead, just put some useful enchantments onto your armour to make yourself just that little bit more powerful. In terms of standing stones, I recommend getting the Atronach stone. The spell absorption from a stone works on dragon shouts, making dragons far easier to cope with. Your main powers you will be using are shouts, and the main 2 out of these you will want to use are Dragon Rend and Bend Will. These in combination will let you bring dragons down to the ground and then have them as mounts, truly making you a Dragon Knight. It's worth pointing out that you can't use shouts whilst mounted on a horse, although there totally needs to be a mod that lets you do so. So you will need to jump off to get yourself a dragon mount. The main weapon of this build will be the Axe of Whiterun. This is a leveled enchanted axe, so it may well not be all that powerful. If you need to upgrade to a better axe, then just craft yourself an axe, and when you enchant it, you can rename it to the Axe of Whiterun. This build wears full dragon plate armour, including a shield. Not only does this look insanely awesome, it's also very powerful and actually allows you to use dragon bones and scales you pick up from slain dragons. You may also want to get an Amulet of Talos to tie in a bit with the backstory and reduce shout cooldown, but this isn't essential. Whilst playing this build, you will want to focus primarily on the main storyline. The Dragon Knight will fully embrace being the Dragonborn, and as several of the quests take place within the hold of Whiterun, it fits in very well. You will also want to go through the Dragonborn questline in Solstein in order to get the Bend Will Shout, letting you have dragon mounts. In addition, I'd recommend joining the Companions. Try to prioritise any missions they give you within the Whiterun hold, but do travel around helping people in other places, and bringing more fame and honour to the Companions. The one and only follower for this build will be Lydia, wearing full dragon plate armour. Lydia is one of the most well-known followers in the game, and I just had to make her the follower for this build. Equipping her in dragon armour will also make her look badass, and lets you see how both the male and female version of the armour look, without having to level smithing to 100 on 2 different characters. This build will mostly use mounted combat, riding around the hold of Whiterun and ensuring all of its citizens are safe from danger. Mounted combat is quite tricky to get the hang of, but it can be very fun to use. You'll want to focus on the advantage of speed that being mounted gives you, charging forwards and striking before moving out of range of your opponent so that they can't hit you back. Being mounted on a dragon is great fun for flying around, but combat can be difficult unless the enemy is out in the open. Make sure to give it a try for yourself to make up your own mind, as I found that people have very mixed opinions on dragon combat. As this is a hold build, you will want to focus a lot of your attention on Whiterun itself. Do whatever quest you can within the hold, and attempt to help out the area to the best of your ability. Thanks for watching the first in my series of Skyrim hold builds. Obviously the rest will be coming in the future, and I have started work on all of them. I'm hoping I can have one uploaded every week, but it does depend on how much time I have available to work on them, so if you don't see one up on the week, don't panic. They will all be coming out eventually. Make sure to like the video, comment below with your thoughts, and share this video with anyone else who has been enjoying Skyrim Special Edition. Subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, and I'll see you all in my next video.